Hello, guys. Welcome to the world of the Alchemist Reads. It's better to be a pirate than to join the Navy. We are here to put a dent in the universe. Stay hungry, stay foolish was the motto of this guy. So, my dear wonderful people, can you guess about whom am I talking? Yep, you all are indeed correct. That's the one and only Steve Jobs, the man who not only gave us such inspiring quotes but also transformed our lives in ways no one could have ever imagined. And since this podcast is all about reviewing books to make it easy for you to know which ones to read, why, and how, so we'll begin with a very favorite book of mine. Steve Jobs, the exclusive biography by Walter Isaacson, published by Simon and Schuster on 24th October 2011. Yeah, just 19 days after passing away of Steve Jobs himself. This book is a 656 pages tome of a book, which is based on more than 40 interviews with Steve Jobs, personally conducted over a span of 2 years by Mr. Isaacson himself. And thank God Jobs wasn't there to see this final published product in book form, cause if he had been there, then he would definitely had demanded the designing of the book to be changed in its edges into a smooth curve maybe, and who knows, he would have also asked Mr. Isaacson to write the first letter of his surname with a small I, Saxon. Yes. Now, among the many revealing details of the personal life of this man, the legend, the icon, the phenom that was Steve Jobs and will always be the most eye-catching for me is the one which occurred in 2009 when Jobs was recovering from a liver transplant and pneumonia. The story goes something like this: that at one point the pulmonologist tries to put a mask over his face when Jobs is deeply sedated. And guess what, guys? Steve just simply rips it off and mumbles in his half conscious state that he hates the design of this mask and refuses to wear it. On the top of this charade, Steve also ruthlessly orders the hospital staff to bring at least 5 different options for the mask so that he can pick a design he likes. Now that's being totally rude and totally Steve Jobs. Even in the depths of his hallucinations, Jobs was a control freak through and through. Now imagine what he was like in the pink of his health. For examples, like putting an unprecedented budget of $750,000 just to film the ad in 1984 at the launch of the Macintosh PC. That's insane. The dividing of people he met and worked with into 2 groups: insanely great and crappy. Ooh, that's Jobs when he was fine and working. Now, there are many such moments of stupendous insights into the personality, mind, and thought process of Mr. Jobs, well chronicled in the 42 chapters of this book. Now, though this book was commissioned by Jobs himself, it is not a hagiography, something which is full of praises for the hero of the book. But on the contrary, Jobs did let Isaacson portray all the shortcomings of Steve Jobs himself in all its blood and go details with brutal honesty, which is a refreshing thing in the world of biographies these days. Isaacson has brought to light the many bungling business decisions taken by Steve Jobs, like hiring John Scully in 1983, the various debacles and fiascos in the countless iteration before the golden goose that laid the golden egg, the iPhone really happened. This book also shows how Jobs bullied many of his own employees in all manners possible, though only trying to coax them into giving their best. But these sessions were nothing short of torture for these employees. In fact, some even thought that Mr. Jobs suffered from NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, but in reality, Steve was more of a crybaby when things didn't go his way. He used to lock himself for hours in his Cupertino office room in Pasadena, California, and feel like a pig, bray like a mule over why things aren't the way they are supposed to be. Well, but then again, these dark moments were the ones when Steve Jobs came up with shining, radiating, pearl like ideas for life altering inventions and products. And not to forget, Isaacson also gives due credit where credit is due, which is the awe inspiring brilliance of Steve Jobs, particularly when it came to three things. First, design, look, and feel of the products. Second, customer expectations to the user friendliness of the products, and marketing and promotion of the products. And as you keep on going ahead in this book, you'll come to a stark and startling realization that no, Mr. Jobs was never a visionary in the true sense of the term, but he was a bloody, vicious, hardcore market opportunist who always had a feel for the zeitgeist and had his finger on the pulse of the young generation of every decade. Now, Mr. Isaacson writes in a news magazine journalistic style with both a wry slang and high hyperbole mannerisms mixed in between. The feel for this can be got from the names of the chapters of the book itself. Well, my favorite among all the 42 chapters are chapter 6, The Apple II, Dawn of a New Age. This chapter will teach you that only excellence matters when it comes to Steve Jobs or his company, Apple. Chapter 10, The Mac is born. Oh yeah, baby, the Mac is born. This chapter will teach you that customers can't tell you what they need. Chapter 18, NEXT, Prometheus Unbound. Whoa! This chapter can teach you that innovation happens on the next curve. Keep moving. Chapter 19, Pixar. Yippee! Which will teach you big challenges beget big accomplishments. Then comes a very heart-bleeding chapter for me, named A Regular Guy. Simply because this chapter describes the story of the real birth parents of Steve. His father, one Mr. Abdul Fatah John Jindali, a Syrian-born graduate student in Wisconsin, and Mona Simpson, his biological mother. How his father was the owner of a restaurant near Reno, and how Jobs used to go there to eat, and how he had even shook his hands with him and had paid good tips too, without ever knowing that this Mr. Jindali is his real blood father. And then in the future later years, when both discovered this fact, this grim fact, how Jobs maintained his distance from this man who had abandoned him in his childhood, is mentioned in this chapter in real heartbreaking detail. Now that is being a cold-hearted, irate individual. Though Steve Jobs always kept on good terms with his mother. Now, going further, you will love chapter 27, the iMac. Yes, this chapter will teach you that price and value are not the same thing, but then again, value isn't enough. Chapter 30, the Digital Hub, showing the journey from iTunes to iPod. This chapter can teach you that engineers are artists. Yes, I agree. I second this fact. Engineers are indeed artists. Respect them. Love them. And finally, hallelujah! Chapter 36, the iPhone. And this chapter will teach you only one real good thing. Design counts. So, all in all, this biography has strong legs till the end. It's a book that must be read from cover to cover. And it is studied with some of the most beautiful, insightful details inside the workings of the mind of the great genius of our times, Steve Jobs. And I would like to end with one more quote of his. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do so. So, guys, this was today's book review. See you guys another time with another book review. Fine. The Alchemist has left the building.